We'll open the joint meeting, at the same time we'll open our meeting, joint review at 5:31. Welcome, everybody, from this side and that side. I guess if we could we go around and introduce each other? Wayne, I'm Mike Simons, I'm the chair of the Lincoln Committee. Wayne, you want to Wayne Balta? Lincoln.
Paul Bowden, for my mother, Lincoln.
Jim Spanos, Lincoln.
Cheryl Worden, Woodstock.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parent Tower Recreation.
Tammy Ham, Selectmen's representative,
Dennis Duchamp, Lincoln.
Tracy Bremer,
Cindy Lloyd, Lincoln.
Al Poole, Lincoln.
Brian Gallagher, Lincoln.
Steve Tower, Woodstock.
Roberta Vino, budget chair in Woodstock. Sarah Sellingham, Woodstock.
Marcella Schamberger, Woodstock. Kathy Riley, Woodstock.
Faith DeJardin, Woodstock.
Good evening, everybody. We have OJ over there. We have Karina over there. And I'm very sorry, Becky over there, and welcome, gentlemen, in the back. And I'm Roberta, I'm not making any errors. You have to open your meeting, Brand, that, or did
No.
you open it? Okay. We're in. Does anybody have anything that they want to bring up?
They propose that we, skip over the minutes till the end of the meeting.
You may propose that, and we don't have to have a motion.
No,
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
thank you.
That we'll skip over our minutes until the next meeting, so we can go right into the joint budget of recreation.
Just a little housekeeping item. Our microphone's not that great, so if you could just speak up because it's usually closer to everybody, that's great. So
If you're doing minutes, you want to be saying. So they know who's. It's up to you.
Tracy?
I know some,
He's a reporter, so that would be a.
I'm good. I know whoever. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. Then we go to the recreation budget, which is number 21. Sorry, you have the floor.
Thank you.
I didn't know. We have 18 and 21, just so you know, there's two.
Oh, yeah, community building, whichever one you'd like to do
Nope.
first.
So usually we go over like increases, and then if anybody has questions. The wage section, the recommended increase was 4%. We went years ago away from doing a returning staff. As some of them were getting more money per hour than our staff, so we went with seasonal. Whatever increase year-round employees got, the seasonal employees got as well. Telephones are pretty stagnant over there. This is for the Kank Recreation area, most of the stuff, and then the community center is working into that budget. Mileage reimbursement, just because the IRS rate has been higher than our fire overexpenditure. Trainings, conferences, membership and dues is slightly up as well because the cost to attend all those has gone up. Our slope registration is just for the ski area, but that's state tag. So, electricity was one area we were thinking we could go back down, but we have two outstanding bills that are coming in for snowmaking. Okay, so Sabrina and I talked today that we might want to go back to the 5 and 15 for building and snowmaking. Keeping that level of what's funded this year.
What about the ball field?
The ball field, we just got the December bill for that.
And you overspent, correct?
Yeah.
You know, I go for the all of them.
Yeah.
And we have, just so it looks like that we have a 7-cent per kilowatt hour increase
Yes, we
this year.
purchased our power from a third-party broker. We signed a new contract in November and it went up 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So we know that it went from 11 to 18. So we know that our electrical rates are going to increase next year. We only had 2 months of this year. So when we originally did this budget, as Tara had said, that we had a healthy surplus, so we thought we could reduce those numbers. But looking now at the final expenditures, we think we should probably just have it remain flat, so we know we have enough for next year.
So should we change that in the 2024 column then to
That's what we're.
5,050?
5,015. What about for the ball field? You had 735 and you've already spent 819. Do you want to put that to 900?
900.
900. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Area, so the 11.559% increase for materials and supplies. And that's due to, interest in community fest waning, so we decided to do it every 5 years, so that it would build up some more momentum. The last time we offered the 5K, I think we're taking it up to 4 people that ran it that night. And, that's the increase for, fuel is based on the current fuel rate and where we've spent. One of our increases is with the fuel rate is because we do use our 15-passenger vans to take our adventure camp kids everywhere. So if there's a minor fuel, it's magnified by 8 weeks of traveling every day. Propane, same, the recommendation with the, for. Yes. Program equipment, safety supplies, basically cost of first aid equipment, things like that, to do all of our first aid kits for coaches or equipment bag for the camp. That. The Parks and Rec, patriotic, the two big things that are budgeted there are the program maintenance, the area, so, just a housekeeping item, the 800 and 850. Those two line items are only paid by the town of Lincoln because they reference town of Lincoln properties. So that's why, area equipment, anything that we maintain at the King property.
We don't have a number on a line number, so I don't know which line.
You do.
you're on.
At the bottom, the last two categories, you see
Oh, I see.
0145208. And then the next one,
Okay.
850.
Okay. Thank you.
No,
And
They're titled TOL Parks and Patriotic because of that.
got it.
That one and the one under it, the general repairs and equipment. are
Okay.
The new expense under Parks and Patriotic is for soccer goals that are in between. We have an itty bitty size and we have the varsity size, but we don't have anything for like. You know, obviously this doesn't include the increase that we're recommending for electricity, but before that, they recommended budget expenses were up 13,417. The recommended offsetting revenue.
On your general repairs and equipment, the overspend was,
Yeah. We
sort of a one-time expense.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Where was that, Tammy?
Under general repairs and equipment, it was the town, one of the town, like,
Oh.
it was, the upgrade on the stomach.
That's a good point, because that also is the, under rumor and total repairs, under, 4520600 materials and supplies. That was the reason that was much higher. Karina and I talked about this is higher, should we increase this for next year? And that was because that was a one-time project that we did that we could fit within the budget without overexpending, so it made more sense to do it there than out of the capital reserve. Project.
Under wages, programmer, you spent $10,000, budgeted 67, and you're only budgeting 6900.
A lot of this, the part-time in here, and you'll see under the community center as well, is not to throw Bria under the bus, but I had a staff member that was out of maternity leave this summer, so we had to hire part-time people to fill in that position. So
Got it.
that was a one and a one and done for a couple of years.
Everything done. Saying,
Budgeted for this year.
Under contracted services, it was up a bit this year.
Yes, that's one of the ones
Do
that we
you think
looked at.
3,000 is enough for this coming year, or do you think you'll have to
That was-
increase that? a
yeah.
little?
We pay because, if somebody's questioning why it says music licensing fee, because we charge a fee for after-school program for the Kingston area. Anytime we play live music and you're charging a fee for participants, you have to have a music license to broadcast any kind of music. It doesn't matter if it's Pandora, Spotify, any kind of service you're paying for, you have to have a music license. And the fees are very hefty for people that have, and if they've even tracked down small New Hampshire towns and
And was
charge
that the
them.
run of the increase?
Yes,
So
that's,
is the 3,100 you have budgeted going to
Right.
be enough?
that's what I think the question was, and we
Yeah.
were, trying to keep things down, but I see your logic. on that.
Put it up to 6?
Yeah.
I had a question under, the materials and supplies, tickets and wickets. You only spent 52, but you're budgeting 1,500.
We, went to a season pass. Somewhere, but it's like a Rite Aid key tag.
Okay,
So we only have to do them so often, but we don't know how many of them we're gonna sell, so we're running down this year's stock before we reorder. I think we have probably about 200 more maybe in this year before we'll reorder, but
And it's kind of a new thing too, so it's hard to know what we're gonna need yet. Another, a year maybe, and we might have
Right.
it down pat as to
Yeah.
what we're gonna need not. But it's hard to guess when we're not sure.
well, and the other part of it is, so if you bought a season pass last year and you bought another one this year, you still have your key tag, it reactivates automatically. But if you can't find that key tag, then we have to issue you another, so it's kind of hit or miss, I'm guessing, who's gonna keep track of things and who's not.
Under equipment, number 700, that you had talked about, the first aid supplies and stuff, they want. That would be another line item. Do you think 4,000 is enough, or should that go up a little bit where those expenses are? Probably, this is maybe only to continue to go up.
Yeah. I don't think it needs to go up to cover the 6,700 that we did this year, because it's a lot of last minute.
And you kind of redid a lot of things that are gonna last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, that was more in the, why we put that safety and first aid up from 200 to 600. Yeah.
Question regarding camp, summer camp. This year, school gets out June 12th. Is the Linwood's date of getting out?
Yeah.
And when is camp projected to start?
July 1st.
By 1st, not the 8th?
No.
So is it gonna go until the 17th
Yes.
of August?
Yeah. We're
Okay,
gonna start July 1st, not have it the 4th and 5th, because we were up in the air when we were trying to set dates on
Okay.
whether, when the fireworks and stuff would be happening. So that's what we, we'll
And
have first,
that's-
second, third, not have Thursday or Friday, and then start up again.
okay, so is that still 7 weeks or is that back to 8 now?
It is 7, because they're starting school before Labor Day.
Right.
So if they start the school the 26th,
You give them 1 week off before
the
school.
19th.
And then nothing the week after, the whole week after school, right? The 12th to,
The week of the 12th, and then the following week is, nothing. And then that following week, they start school.
start camp.
No, school. At the end,
No,
you're talking
for June.
August.
No, for
Sorry.
June.
I'm in August,
Yeah.
I apologize.
So the thing is, so right now they have them getting out on a Wednesday. With the last day, so they have Thursday, Friday,
And then
Monday, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a snow day potential, but
we do, we have,
Yeah.
yeah. No, we have the 13th, the 14th, and the 17th scheduled as
Okay.
Sundays.
so we have that week of
we have
24th
scheduled
as
for-
our staff training week.
Right.
That's why we're starting. So it'd be a week before and week after.
So it's only 7 weeks of camp.
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of that's on the tail end, because after like August 20th, we start losing a lot of our staff back to college.
Do we have a lot of returning members that need training for that week in June?
I don't know who yet we have coming back. I have a couple that are iffy, that are in college. One that just started and wants to see what happens. But yeah, either way, we do it's more of like a team building week where we have to have the staff. Get them all working in. the group. We always have a couple new that
You have to stress those staff trainings enough. I think you should have 6 months of it, not just 1 week. You're saying, holy cow.
no, but at the end of that week, we're ready to.
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Out there
You've got a
excited.
great
Yeah.
staff, you do. They do great. But that staff training week is extremely.
So the staff training is the week of the 24th.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the week after is camp starts that following Monday.
And
And the week
before
before is potential snow day.
correct. So if we do have more than 2 snow days, then half our staff will still be in school.
Right. Is there wiggle room in the budget that if there are no snow days, that potentially training could be the 17th and camp could start the 24th?
If staff are available, I.
If,
don't-
yeah, that's what I mean, like, is there, I guess, do we have enough in there that we could potentially make that work if we needed? If that situation arose? Just a
Any
thought,
college staff, they're probably gonna be done in May.
and you'd know by March 1st.
One of my college staff is in New Zealand right now, so she doesn't get back. I think the week before that. Yeah, she's
Oh,
in
June.
June, yeah.
If there's high school
Not
kids,
making them
maybe
big now, but just kind of keeping an open mind to it that potentially, if.
So the other
if
part of
we're
it,
allowed.
so like, not to make personal, but
Yeah.
for Bree and I, like, the years we went from ASD on Friday to camp on Monday, it's rough. And if you're going into an 8-week or 7-week summer camp program and you just like have,
Oh, gotcha.
you know, that turnaround time, it's,
with the team building week.
It'd be nice to give you a week to breathe for a minute, is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
there's a lot of free floating, but we did 1 year, we planned for the ultimate and then they had school Monday or Tuesday or something.
Right.
but- so,
Okay. Anything further on recreation? Community building? 15?
18.
For 18.
So again, starting with wages, it's a 4% recommended increase. Telephone it made sense when we had another provider to have like our telephone management at one item and then our phone provider be in the contracted services, but now it's all through Spectrum, so that's why the recommendation is to move that up from contracted services back to phone, so we're putting Spectrum bills all in the same line item.
Oh, I see. So you've got that one out of hundred, just move it
Yeah.
up. It's an additional one, you just move
Yes,
it. And it's less than what we budgeted last year.
yeah, it is, yeah, that's a
Fantastic.
cost saving too.
I like it.
It actually ended up, it was the old phone system, the Avaya phone system was going out, so I said, well, we already have Spectrum phone and internet, do they have a physical phone that we can rent as well? So we did have to switch to data, which had a couple of hiccups, but it's going better. Yeah. Alarm service, $46 a month, but every time there's a $1 or $2 increase, it looks like a big percentage, that's why that's. 10%. Dumpster, same slight increase in their costs. Certified computer, increase there. And that's for the monthly service to all of our computers and the laptop, as well as the upgrades. Our rec desk is our online software system that does our registration and credit card payments, things like that. Corrected cleaning service.
We got a prime holiday, so it reduce
Oh, gotcha, you're right, yeah,
our
okay,
liability.
thank you for that. Unfortunately, I don't anticipate that next year.
I thought.
Absolutely, yeah.
Electricity, I think we're good here. Stay right on the-
Yeah, I would agree.
Heating fuel, we actually anticipated that it would be higher than it was, so that. My thing is open windows after they're open. Cleaning supplies as usual and having. Paper goods for cleaning products. Before. The program and office supplies is that, program supplies is primarily like snacks, school, crafts, things. Supplies for our staff. Things like that. For paying, yeah, that's the piece about last year. We originally budgeted for 30 kids last year, and we've been able to do 34 this year.
Brings up a question on the wages for the after-school counselors. You overspent the budget, but you're not budgeting what you spent.
Good point. The after-school program staff is kind of, we benefit highly from a lot of PSU students that need a lot of hours. Our good problem this fall was that some of them were so good that we hired them on after they finished the volunteer hours that they needed to. I don't think we have that many signed up for, I know at least for spring semester, we haven't heard back from that many. Say, yeah,
Going in between the 30, the 35
like
and
at
the
30,
27, yeah, 30, 31.
Thirty or 31.
my choice is 6:30.
Bring it to 30.
Under the building and property maintenance, you've got $50,000 in there again for the doors and windows, airlock.
Mhm.
Things that didn't, apparently we budgeted last year, you didn't do it.
Yeah, the concrete costs, apparently, there's a real need for wall guys around here, because the entryways required walls for the ramps. The final quote we got finally in November, after contacting everybody that was recommended since April, was $129,000. So we pumped the brakes on
Just for the
that.
concrete
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
For the ramp.
But you have like, what, $68,000 in CIP? Is that project, is that a shared project with Woodstock, or is it just Lincoln
The
project?
operating budget, yeah.
This is the
Is
shared,
that,
this is shared, yeah.
So 50.
so it's a 50-50?
That's why it's in the operating budget versus us taking it out of CIP.
But we chose not to spend $130,000 on a project that we don't believe $130,000 is needed to be spent on. We're waiting a year, see if concrete prices come down, which they are coming down. And knock on wood, we can get that project done this year.
And we
at
encumbered,
significantly less than the $130,000 for the concrete work.
But it does meet the requirements of the CIP. Because it's $50,000, so I mean, I would think they would come out of CIP.
but that would be just a town Lincoln expense.
Correct.
Correct, I mean, and
If
so
we put it in the.
what does Woodstock have in its CIP for? The community building?
We don't have a CIP.
What's that?
We don't work off of the CIP. do we? So we budget the 50,000 that you guys come to us with each year.
And they encumbered it similar.
And we encumber it that you guys did.
In order for it to be shared, it needs to be in the operating budget.
So you don't have a CIP for
We have.
community building or solid waste or anything like
We
that?
have capital reserve that we put money into,
in capital reserve.
Yeah.
For,
but we don't have like a written out plan like you do, so.
but you do have money that's put aside as capital reserve.
And in our, and in the operating.
But that's not earmarked specifically for the community center, correct?
The,
There was a capital reserve.
no, we
You
started
do
a
have
capital,
a-
yeah, we do have a capital reserve now for community.
You know what the balance of that is?
That's all.
They put me, we started we're probably somewhere around 10 or 15,000.
Okay.
We just started it.
Yeah, I believe we looked at that, Paul, when we went over the CIP this summer, and I believe it was, Cheryl's right, I believe they had like 10 grand in there, or 50, it wasn't.
Well, the reason I brought that up, Green, was because this Woodstock does not have a lot of money in their reserves for doing things like this, or for some of the things for the solid waste. And it's not that that's a bad thing, it just means that Lincoln just has a lot more than Woodstock does, but if we're gonna be doing projects, Woodstock probably should be putting a little more money into thinking about it. If these projects are gonna be, whether it's at community center, solid waste, recreation is just Lincoln, right?
The Kank,
Okay,
the infrastructure, Kank infrastructure.
it's
like-
just Lincoln, right?
But we do
So,
have the.
But those shared projects that we do, I'm not sure that Woodstock has a lot of funding available.
Well, that's why they put it in their operating.
Well, that's why the selectmen and the budget committee met, oh gosh, what, 6 or 8 years ago? When did we first start doing the insulation project, the flooring project? It was a lot. Well, I'm too young. to do that. That's why the selectmen had a joint selectmen meeting, and then we had a joint budget committee meeting and decided at that time to put roughly $50,000 in every operating budget every year to cover these expenses. There is a community building committee, and they come up with a plan on what's next. Right now, we're just hyper focused on the airlock entryways because it takes so long to get the project going. Not any fault to the rec department, more of a fault to supply. It's been the supply that we haven't been able to get done. The windows, the insulating,
We did the kitchen first.
we did the
And
kitchen,
the roof.
the flooring.
Yeah.
All of those have come out of the operating budget every year, and that was decided by the boards years ago to do it that way.
Anything further for community building? Good question.
Hmm.
15. Solid waste.
Tara and Bree, thank you for coming in. Appreciate your,
thank
your efforts. We appreciate your long hours. Thanks, and AFC. We appreciate you.
Because I made the comment that might have been, thanks for the more.
Hey, been there, done that, just saying. Hey, we get nice floors like that.
And I just watched them today.
I know, the floors are long. I know. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Hey. Oh, good.
Okay.
Nate, you wanna take solid waste from the top? For 100?
Yeah.
Okay, and, wages, increase reflects the cost of living increase for the, full-time employees, part-time employees. We did increase part-time by a little bit as well. I increased overtime. I'm actually down a full-time employee right now with, health issues on short-term disability, so this is, reflecting the coverage that I'll need from the other full-time employees. Keeping telephone and alarms the same, I did spend more in that line than what I had budgeted, but that's, due to some repairs that had to be made to the, fire alarm system and whatnot. I don't foresee that happening this coming year. Keeping, dues and conferences the same. We're keeping contracted services, our contract with, waste management, we're gonna keep that the same. Adding $6,000, this is a household hazardous waste year, we do that biannually. It's up a little bit from 2 years ago, because of the amount that we took, we wanted to be able to take the same amount, go for the same amount of time. NHRA is helping us with that. I'm not going to, grind brush this year. John's done an excellent job of consolidating the brush pile. We kind of spread it out a little bit, made the area a little bigger. So I don't see a need to do that this year. There's not a lot there. So I'm gonna hold off on a year on that. So that's where we're at with contracted services. Electricity was down, so we're gonna bring that down from last year's budget. And that's, we'll keep that in line with what I have budgeted. Good on off-road diesel. We spent just under, or we spent above what we budgeted, so I budgeted more for that. So about 5,000 to 3,200. Barrel today. Materials and supplies the same. Equipment repairs, I'm gonna keep the same. Uniforms went up a little bit for the, didn't add in the full-time employee we added last year, so that's why that went up. General repairs and equipment, I'll keep it the same.
Earlier with the tank budget, that the electric cost went up. Did that stay at that 5,000 or?
I was thinking the same thing, Daryl. I was thinking that because we're cutting it so close, we might wanna bring that back up to the. At least to 5,000. I don't necessarily know if we'll need the whole 55, but I would say at least 5,000 is safe.
The last year, the contract with benefits.
No, we just
No.
did one last year. It's a 3-year term, so we'll have one more year.
Okay.
The part-time help, did that also not get the 4% increase?
I think we based that, the employee will, yeah,
Overtime.
the employee will get the increase, but we did it based on the number of hours that we had budgeted, and because we have an additional full-timer now, on board, I think thought we would be okay.
I'm confused by the contracted services budget. It's hard to understand it because there's no year-to-date expenditures. But you asked for 50,000 more than you spent, but you're asking for 50,000 more again. But it's hard to understand it because there's no numbers in there.
Are you missing like a December bill?
Yeah, so the last waste management bill that we just received was what, 25,000, 20?
Yeah, I think it was this week.
We paid it this week, so that's not included in the expenditure, so that 247 that you're seeing right now, actually, I took this up today. We just paid it today. Yeah, so contracted services is actually at 286, 256. So you're showing on your sheets now 247, it's actually 286.
Okay, all right.
That we just paid our last month of this, and then the 6,000. Yes, okay.
On the vehicles and equipment, you budgeted 3,200 and only spent 350 and are budgeting 3,200 again. Is that a just in case account?
It is.
It is, but we do know that we have our backhoe is currently down. We just got a bill to get it back up and running. It's $18,000. We're hoping to take 15 of that, but that's what is remaining in the 23 budget to pay that bill. And so we're gonna be spending $3,000 out of the 24 budget, so that is essentially gone.
So does it make sense to put a little extra right there to cover? I mean, not that we wanna keep throwing money out, but I mean, if
I think what I
it
did,
saves,
You're
what I
gonna
did-
have to spend it, you might as well be planning on it.
I coded,
Right.
Yeah.
I coded most of my repairs for this year on, the 4324 850,
okay,
and I think that's why I just did.
That's why that budget isn't.
You know, some of those
29
bills were larger than the whole budget of that one line, so,
do you think,
you know what I
you're
mean?
thinking, even though we're gonna chew up 3,000 of that, getting the rest, to pay the rest of that, cat bill? Do you think that $10,000 down and 850 is gonna cover whatever other incidentals you have?
I hope so.
throughout this year? Okay.
Unless like I said, that was a transmission job, it was 18.5, so it's fine. We lose an engine. So.
Is there anything, I mean, you can't, predict it, but is there? anything like This speech. No.
It's hard to predict.
Yeah. I just wanna, like Kara said. We want, for us, it's better to be
How
prepared
old
for
is that backhoe?
That'll last.
97? I think it's a 96 or a 97.
What does it cost to replace it?
A brand new backhoe's $200,000.
So
We don't need to plan for that.
18.
Yeah. Plan for that. No, I just kind of. there's
Well, yeah, I mean,
that we need to
18.5,
kind
you know,
of-
they've had it since September, we still don't have.
And I
that.
believe that's the Venus purchase view.
Yes.
Yeah, the town of Lincoln's backhoe's been covered.
Right.
All the other equipment there, sound? And you had a.
Skid steer and a backhoe. Skid steer has had issues, I think.
Against the price of the equipment, though, 3,000.
Well, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No further questions? Okay, that's a good one. Thank you.
Already good. Thank him for it, please. He does a great job down there.
The joint budgets that we have to go over, any further discussion? Where we can all get in trouble. Instead of the meeting, just start discussing things, what would it go?
Are we gonna still go over?
No.
Oh, we're not. gonna-
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. And so since this is a little different than public hearing, the only thing I have for housekeeping is myself, Brent, Jim, and Cindy, who, and I have one. Yeah, Jane dropped it off.
Jim and Cindy.
Looks like it's next, is that correct?
Well, I'm gonna close the whole thing.
Oh, you're supposed to.
Yeah,
Brett, Jim,
'cause,
me.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
Or-
Okay. For no further discussion. Motion adjourned, Paul.
Second.
Look at this, Cheryl. Alright, discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Opposed? None?
Thank you all for.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for coming over.
Thanks, Brian, work.
See you same time next year.
So Brent, Jim, and Mike, that was for, all for the election.
For technically, candidate, yeah. Yeah.
Forty-five. I don't know how I didn't go. Here,
February, end of February.
Other things.